We are live.
Welcome,
Yay!
welcome back, folks. So we, yeah, okay. So Tulsi Gabbard's not involved with Joe Kent. Okay, that's good. Because as I said last week, was it last week?
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks?
It
Oh
was last
god.
week. Doesn't
Oh my brain, dude, my brain is so fucking mush right now. It's unreal. Um, as I said previously, Tulsi Gabbard's a lot more important than Joe Kent at the end of the fucking day. So as long as Tulsi is good, we're good. Um, so the Joe Kent situation, we're back to our original 40-40-20 split. 40% Joe Kent's an asshole, 40% he's a hero, 20% that he got caught up in some bullshit and that, frankly speaking, we don't know what the fuck. And
I'm leaning more towards 60-20-10.
yeah, well, the point is that everything's still up in the fucking air at this point in time. But the problem is that Joe Kent's not doing himself any fucking favors. In my personal opinion, I think the abject personal gain attempts that are being made by him, it's like, okay, dude, what's going on? Like you're obviously trying to angle for slots, you're trying to angle for this, you're trying to angle for that. Like, what are you doing? And again, like I for the sake of some of the people that I follow, because these people they hitch their fucking horse to Joe Kent instant fucking taneously. I hope to God for their sake, because if they become like, mind you, fucking Tom Luongo, like he's not in complete opposition to their position, but he's also not at all fucking behind Joe Kent whatsoever. He's like, there's something that smells here, and I don't like it. So when Tom breaks with the rest of the group like that, it instantly puts a red flag up in the air for me, and it's like, oh, something's going on, like, and the problem is that now we're for example, who was it that fucking was it Mark Levin that Huckabee went on?
No, that was Tucker. He went on.
Tucker, okay. And then you have the whole situation.
That was
Okay, yeah, I was just like, which one did he go on? Huckabee, making
more recently.
Yeah, Huckabee trying to make the moves he's making, so on and so forth. Which we all know who Huckabee is. We all know that he's a fucking Zio bro. Yeah. Like it's no fucking wonder. But at the same time, it's like, okay, there's obviously something going on here, to the point where it's like, okay, we're definitely waiting until probably next week, to be completely frank. We'll probably not know jack shit until 2 weeks after. And
at best, yeah.
I say most certainly by the time April is done and dusted and we go into May, we'll know for certain what the situation with Joe Kent really was. And mind you, again, I just want to point out that I think there's something to the situation when it comes to Tucker, because one of the things that and Tom pointed this out. What if Tucker, because Tucker comes out and he claims CIA's fucking tapping me, they're investigating me, blah blah blah, and it's like, motherfucker, you just admitted you were talking to people from Iran. Do you think the CIA were listening to you, or were they listening to the guys from fucking Iran? And then you have the situation with Joe. That happens very, very soon right after that, by the way. Like, Tucker starts talking about that, and then almost as instantly, Joe Kent fucking steps down. So
Yeah.
I'm
The next day he's on the touch.
yeah. So there is a possibility here, and I'm sorry to anybody who is pro Joe Kent, but there is a possibility that, Joe Kent, was like, hey, buddy, letting you know, CIA's tapping your fucking phone. Don't say anything that, would give shit away that you don't want to give away. And then Tucker, being the egotistical piece of shit that he can be, decides to fucking say that out loud on his fucking show. And I can imagine Joe Kent sitting there like, oh, you fucking asshole, why would you do that?
You just
Yeah. So
nobody. Tucker didn't. You screwed yourself when you talked to Tucker.
yeah, well,
You're just feeling the repercussion.
well, then to speak on the whole Israel situation as just a microcosm of the Joe Kent situation itself. Then you have the backlash that's currently going on because the Israelis have effectively shut down the Temple Mount. Now a lot of people are claiming, what?
I said, I'm sorry. I find that amusing.
Well, the whole thing being is that, you now have one side's claiming, oh, the Israelis are planning a false flag. They're going to blow the Temple Mount and then, try to blame the Iranians for it. This, that, and the other, yada, yada, yada. Again, I'm sitting here with the idea of it's like, hey, they don't want to fucking give a reason for the Iranians to strike one of the most sensitive cultural locations in the entire fucking city of Jerusalem. They're gonna shut it the fuck down. Yeah, you might not like the fact that you can't, go hold mass in the sepulcher, but guess what? You get over it for this one time. You're gonna have to get the fuck over it.
Well, I don't
Yeah.
want
The timing is a bit interesting, though. They decide to do this specifically on the day Easter starts. It's like, huh.
Well,
yeah,
sure.
I think it's more just a case of, them, obnoxiously wanting to antagonize Christians, because, it's that's kind of what Israel likes to do.
No,
Yeah,
no,
sure.
that's not. No, I'm gonna have to disagree with you on this one. It's the case because it's a Christian holiday. It makes it for a really soft target, a really juicy target. It's not a case of, oh, we're going to screw the Christians. It's a case of, oh shit, this is a day they're going to want to blow something up. Let's take this option away from them.
See, I'm leaning towards Will on that one, but also here's the other case.
So I mean, in this case, it really isn't. And I'm sorry, I'm going to have to really disagree.
Well, and here's my point is that at the end of the fucking day, it's like, okay, boo-hoo, get over it. Then all of a sudden, we've got Pope Leo coming out, talking about wanting to merge and establish an official day for Easter based on the Orthodox calendar. So already you're creating a situation where it's like, okay, wait a minute. What the fuck? Because mind you, the Catholics and the fucking Orthodox haven't been fucking, they haven't been on a fucking wavelength when it comes to that shit in a long fucking time. Why all of a sudden? And it starts to create a situation. I'm gonna be paying attention and keeping an eye on Pope Leo quite a bit more. Given the fact that, again, we know the Europeans or let me rephrase, the little shitheads that most often reside in Europe have been using the Catholic Church's ledger in order to hide their assets for fucking years. What is going on that all of a sudden Pope Leo is like, hey, Orthodox, you know, that 1054 shit, we really need to fucking fix that.
Well, to be fair, they have been saying stuff, you know, there have been attempts like this that have gone on countless times over the past, like, I don't know, 100 or so years. Or arguably the past 1,000 years. There have been attempts like this to try to mend fences between them. Doesn't necessarily seem that out of the ordinary.
Absolutely, but again, the timing of the whole situation. Again, it's about timing.
I mean, it makes sense you do that on Easter, which is supposed to be, like, you know, the week in Christianity. So, like, that would be the time to where, you know, that would be the ideal time to extend an olive branch if you wished to.
But again, that's the whole point, is that at the end of the fucking day, it's like, interesting. Now, one of the key things, and this is just a personal take of mine, is understanding that at the end of the fucking day, we don't know jack fucking shit. We can speculate all we fucking want, but we don't know jack fucking shit about anything that is going on when it comes to Joe Kent and Israel and Iran, other than what we're able to see with our own two fucking eyes. Again, as I pointed out earlier, their armed militias now openly engaging with the IRGC in Iran right now. It's like, oh, okay, interesting. You know, that wasn't going on fucking last week. Then we have mind you, you know, the footage that is coming out. Like, these guys are not some random broskies. This is coordinated. This is very well executed. We're talking the level of execution that we were seeing out of the protests prior to the strikes in Iran, when IRGC officers were getting fucking bushwhacked across the fucking nation by dudes doing drive-bys and shit with AKs. And it's like, oh, okay, wait a fucking minute, something's going the fuck on. And it lends itself to a situation where it's like, okay, more is happening than is meeting the fucking eye. And mind you, you know, what's the situation with the Europeans when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz? Not fucking.
They want their oil.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, is that all of a sudden they had to fucking get on it because Trump said, "Oh, I might just say fuck it and pull out of the strait." As soon as he said that, they fucking got on business real fucking quick. It's almost like they don't have full control of the situation, but now they're panicking because, you know, gas is fucking, you know, what I forget what the Brent contract was looking at. Hold on, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Well, fuck, if U.S. crude oil 99.64. Let's go. Let's look at the Brent contract real quick. What? 112.57.
A little bit of a difference there.
Hold on. Let me see if I am. Pull
That's
up.
2.5 hours to be on.
Yeah, Urals is pulling 105.91 right now. So yeah, I'm just gonna point it out. Like, there's a massive difference between when the U.S. oil is trading at just under $100, but really hasn't like let's look real quick. Yeah, it hasn't gone over 100. It's stayed below 100 through this entire thing. Brent has continuously come up towards that or above 112 for a long time, or for this entire time. Hell, let me look real quick. So it hit 100. Two. Okay. Let's basically say March 12th. So for 17 days now, it's been over 100. And the Europeans can't fucking sustain that shit.
No.
They can't sustain that shit whatsoever. And mind you, then we jump over to natural gas. Natural gas.
Yeah, that's actually an even bigger.
Well, that's the thing is natural gas is back down towards $3. Oh wait, what happened?
Oh,
the U.S. diverted all fucking production to Asia. We signed a massive fucking contract with the fucking Japanese, and we're basically providing all the LNG to fucking Japan.
Good.
Oh, I thought you were looking up European.
Oh no, the natural gas price on here is U.S. But that shows you right there. You know, if we come over here real quick, you know, right there, gold. Gold's currently sitting at 4,524. So $4,524.30. If I come back over here real quick. So right now we're trading sideways, boys, on gold. Past yeah, we're trading sideways for the past week. If that cycle continues into next week, so depending on what happens going into in I would say Wednesday, basically. If we continue trading sideways, but we're on the up on Wednesday, we're probably going to see a slight climb, but it's going to be the stabilization. Gold is stabilized in that range. Which, oh no, the world's ending. Gold should be fucking $7,000 fucking dollars an ounce right now if the world was fucking ending. Guess what? The world's not fucking ending. Get over it.
Yeah. If the world was ending, you'd know about it because of the price of gold.
Oh yeah. And you then have the other issues in regards to Iran, the helium market. Like everybody's freaking out about the helium market. And mind you, I want to point out to everybody, if you are a regular person freaking out about the helium market,
You've got bigger problems.
You're not a serious fucking person. I know for a fact, if I see somebody bitching about the helium market on Twitter, I am just going to automatically assume that they are a bot or they're Indian.
It explains the voice.
To say, what's wrong with helium? I love helium. Helium makes you sound funny.
Well, no, the point is helium's used in electronics production, and across the board, it's like, there's other, you can get access to helium in the U.S., for example, no problem. We do produce our own helium. Just saying.
Yeah.
So,
if you want helium, yeah, in America. If you want hydrogen on the other hand, that's actually pretty hard.
Well, yeah. Well, hydrogen. We're working that angle with the Japanese, anyways, because what do the Japanese produce a lot of? Hydrogen. Oh, there you go. Same thing with South Koreans.
Which is
Also,
why he doesn't have Hindenburg.
I don't think anyone should have to worry about hydrogen, as it is the single most is the single most common element in all of the universe. So I don't think we have to worry about that one.
No, we're talking about hydrogen in its condensed gaseous form, which is used for industrial applications. It's a little different. Anyways, but no, the point is at the end,
hydrogen. I mean, what do we use hydrogen for other than in fuel cells and the angry gas that filled the Hindenburg?
There's plenty of industrial applications.
Yeah, I can give you some really good examples. If you need if you're working with certain types of high-end metals and super alloys, they need to be in an inert environment. Now, inert does not mean it has to be a vacuum or it has to be no air. It can be something that just doesn't have a reaction with whatever metal you're working with. Hydrogen is actually considered an inert gas in manufacturing, even though it's explosive.
Well, yeah, because it's a noble gas.
Yep.
Oh, really? I thought a noble gas is what happened when a king farted.
Jesus Christ. This is the child that we have to deal with. But yeah, no, the simple fact is that
I just had a real rough few days, and I just needed.
I understand. I get it, man. I get it. It's fine. I'm just fucking with you.
I know, but this was for the benefit of the audience.
Fair enough. But yeah.
But go ahead, Dale.
Oh no, I was just gonna say, quick question. I just wanted to deviate because I saw this being circulated a lot recently. Do you think that all the talk about how the U.S. is about to send a few thousand Marines into Iran is just an op, or do you think that's happening?
So I have two opinions about it. One, I don't believe that they are actually going into Iran. I believe
just going to Karg Island.
No, I think that they are there as. Okay, so let's kind of preface this a little bit. There's only one place in Iran when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz that matters. Only one. It's called Bandar Abbas. A single MEU could take Bandar Abbas without even fucking a single hitch, like at all.
Yeah, that's not even going on a Vegas vacation for them.
Yeah,
that's basically Fleet Week.
Yeah. That's a weekend exercise.
What is an MEU?
Marine Expeditionary Unit. 2,500 to 5,000 Marines. It depends on the overall disposition of the MEU at the time. Basically, think an oversized brigade. The point is that at the end of the fucking day, Bandar Abbas is the only thing that fucking matters when it comes to the Strait of Hormuz. Because once you take Bandar Abbas, you take all the surrounding area of it, and that's all you fucking need anyways.
Is there
There's no other
issue, like concern of them getting bogged down in Ukraine-style drone warfare?
No, not at all. So here's the thing: when it comes to the whole drone bullshit that people keep fucking ranting about, do you guys realize the only drones that we're actually having problems with engaging our boats are unmanned surface vehicles? Mm-hmm. The only ones. And one of the important things to remember at unmanned surface vehicles versus big targets is that the less small guns that a big target has, the less likely it is to blow that thing out of the water. This is why, like for example, I pointed it out when we had the discussion about the Trump class, the fact that the Trump class had 4 30mm phalanx systems on that bitch, and those phalanx, because of how they're positioned and how they're set up, could actually fire onto the waterline very easily. Those can easily engage those kinds of targets. You see, when it comes to those kind of targets, you're not using the 5-inch gun. You could, but you're not really going to get much work out of it. You're going to use something like a 20 mil or a 50 cal or whatever. You're going to use something that can shoot a lot faster and has a lot more bullets available to put down range in a short amount of time. So USVs as a weapon are incredibly effective to target against targets that are not actually equipped to handle them. But as soon as you engage a target that's actually equipped to handle them, the USV is basically fucking worthless. It's an ambush predator. It's not a... You know, everybody's like, oh, but drone swarms. Okay, I don't care how many fucking drones you have, especially in the case of USVs, because once you detonate a couple of them, it's going to start causing cascade effects.
Yeah. Though, rather than the USV type drones, is there no concern about like the more the FPV type of drones? You know.
Oh no, I don't believe there is, because here's the thing: is one, we have already established that FPV drones are only a threat, or only a real threat on a micro scale. You know, if you're engaging, you know, one squad versus another squad, and a couple dudes throw up a FPV and they land it in amongst, you know, 2 or 3, you know, say they land the bitch right on top of one of your fire teams. Okay, all of a sudden that's a fucking problem. But on a large scale, FPVs aren't that effective. This is the problem with the whole Ukraine situation, is people are like, oh, look at how effective FPVs are. And it's like, okay, you're showing where a single FPV is taking out 1 dude or 2 dudes. You're showing it on a microcosm. The effectiveness of FPVs is actually their ability to loiter and actually observe the battlefield. Because at the end of the fucking day, what that gives you the ability to do is correct for artillery fire, which is where the actual effectiveness of FPV drones is the ability to not need to have a fucking spotter plane in the air, but instead have this little fucking drone bastard that can sit there and the fucking operators back in the trench relaying direct fucking information to the gunnery crews.
Interesting.
Yep.
So,
and when they run out of ammunition, they don't have enough gas to fly back, then they've got a however many pound warhead that they can smack into a soft target.
Yeah.
But that's tertiary.
Yeah, and at the end of the fucking day, like, I get the whole idea, oh, new tech and, you know, new and fancy, but at the end of the fucking day, it's like, yeah, and a lot more guys are dying from fucking 152s to the face than they're dying to FPVs. There's a reason why they tried to make the FPV this big bad thing, because it's an easy asset for a guerrilla force to use, which is what the Ukrainian army really is at this point in time. It's an easy force multiplier on a microcosm. But on the larger scale, you know, on the operational and strategic level, FPVs aren't that big of a fucking deal whatsoever. Yeah, could we have a situation where we watch an FPV fucking blow up a building that fucking, you know, a couple Marines are hiding in? Yeah, sure, we could see that. But at the end of the day, then all of a sudden it's like, hey, by the way, put fucking rounds on that bitch over there. And then all of a sudden the entire fucking ridgeline gets lit up by fucking 152s. Or 127s from the fucking ships. Because again, we're talking about Bandar Abbas. Like, that's the only target that we would need to take in Iran to secure the fucking straits. The only one. Otherwise, like, there's no... there's no reasonable place to go with a fucking MEU. Now, then people are like, oh, we're going to seize Tehran. Well, the Ayatollahs have already abandoned Tehran. They've all ran.
Why would literally sinking into the earth?
Well, dude, there are substantial reports that that much of the leadership of the IRGC has already fled the country. And there's a lot of reports coming through that many of the Ayatollahs have relocated out of Tehran in order to avoid getting them put on the target list because they, are associated with somebody or whatever. And so they've just removed themselves from the situation because they don't want. They're like, I'm not involved in this bullshit. Fuck you.
Don't blow me up. Don't blow me up.
Indeed.
So at the end of the day, from my personal position, and again, it's my personal position. If the MEU drops onto the shores of Iran, it's going to be at Bandar Abbas. It's going to be, okay, we're going to take Bandar Abbas. We're going to secure it. All of a sudden, there's going to be funny little green dudes running around with the Marines. And then all of a sudden, we're just going to see nothing fucking happen. And also, I'll say this right now. We don't have any there's no confirmation on where the Tripoli is right now. I have tacitly tried to keep a tab on it. I haven't checked in the past few days because I've just been recovering from, I've been convalescing. That's the best word. That's the best word to use for it.
Right.
I've been convalescing after my ordeal this past week. I don't have any good confirmation on where the Tripoli is anyways. Like, I just don't know. So at the end of the day, let's.
What about people use that laptop with a Fitbit?
Yeah, hold on. Let me see. Okay, so
So apparently, according to CENTCOM, 19 hours ago, U.S. sailors and Marines aboard USS Tripoli arrived in the U.S. Central Command area of responsibility.
Yep. Yep. I just looked.
Along with
So
31st MEU.
Yep. And they just arrived, like literally yesterday.
Yeah.
So
Makes sense. Like I said, they're a lot better about not having their
oh, and it looks like the USS
soldiery
Boxer.
running around.
Apparently, the USS Boxer is also being sunk.
Is that a same class of ship as the Tripoli?
Yeah, I believe it is, but I could be wrong. Hold on. No, it's the Boxer is a Wasp class, whereas the Tripoli
Is an America class.
Yeah.
But they're the same type of
Same,
ship, though, right?
same concept, different types. Big angry motherfuckers that are coming to fuck your day up.
Yeah.
But that's the whole thing though. Is at the end of the fucking day, you're talking about a situation where, again, the only viable target to really go after would be Bandar Abbas, and it's like, okay, why would we drop into Bandar Abbas? Well, I can tell you why. It's because at that point in time, we secure the objective we want. The angry little green guys come down to join the party, and they secure what they want. And then at that point in time, everybody's fucking happy. And then it also gives us a base of operations. Well, that's the thing, is it gives us a base of operations to start feeding supplies to our operatives in the country. And then our guys in country can fucking keep doing the militia shit that they're doing. Like, at this point in time, the Green Berets are more than in there. Like, they're fully operational at this point. Because the coordination and the decisiveness in which these militias are persecuting their attacks on the IRGC, it's like, yeah, that's Green Beret textbook 101. That's irregular warfare 101 right there.
So what exactly are the Green Berets supposed to do? What are they? What type of force are they?
So the Green Berets. Okay. So when it comes to standard warfare, you can kind of put them in the same boat as the U.S. Rangers when it comes to direct confrontations. But they're not truly meant for direct confrontations. They are the irregular warfare guys. So what they do is that they will get deployed.
They're the guys.
Yeah, well, I was getting to it. They will go into a country previous to an invasion of some kind, and they will start arming and equipping dissident forces within said country in order to start striking against whatever forces that they are wanting to strike against. And so, like, for example, in Vietnam, this is where they get their true start, is Vietnam. They go in, they start helping equip and arm up the different anti-communist groups, and then also backing up the regular Southern Vietnamese army against the North. Then another, going forward, you would see, like, for example, them going into Afghanistan to start helping coordinate and arm the Pashtun militias that we were working with, the Northern Alliance, as it was called.
Right.
So it's most certain that these guys are in there. Like, the Berets are in there. They're absolutely operating. The situation then becomes...
A good example of one... Yeah, hang on, 10 seconds.
Yep.
A good example of a way to figure out where a Green Beret's at any one time around the world is you go and look and see, where is there 100 American soldiers somewhere? And I use the 100 number specifically because they usually get sent out in groups of like 20, 50, 100 to go train somebody, do something. So if you see there's 100 soldiers here, or 50 soldiers there, or maybe 200 soldiers somewhere in some far-flung country, half of them are going to be Green.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, sorry, continue.
No, you're good. But that's the thing is, they're the irregular warfare guys. Now, when it comes to direct confrontations, like, when they actually have to fucking, strap the boots on and actually fucking pull the trigger, again, they're on par with the Rangers overall. They're stellar light infantry forces. Are they really meant to be doing that? No, not at all. If they're doing that, that means shit has gone really fucking wrong. But they're trained, they're very well trained, they're very well equipped. But again, the heavy infantry, which the Marines, that's what the Marines are. They're a heavy infantry formation. When the heavy infantry is coming in to set up a beachhead, like most likely is going to happen at Bandar Abbas, it's like, okay, these guys are going to be securing this beachhead, they're going to be locking it the fuck down, and then they're going to be feeding supplies or feeding logistics. Let's use that term. They're going to be feeding logistics through to the Green Berets and their militias that are operating in the country. Because at this point in time, that's the only thing with what we currently politically can do in the United States. Because again, the whole doomers, be like, oh my god, it's another forever war. Like, hey guys, no, actually it's not going to be a forever war. We're literally letting them fight their own fucking war. We're just providing the heavy hits.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, by the way, we did this in Yugoslavia. Now, whether or not you agree with the whole situation in Yugoslavia or not, doesn't matter. We decimated the Yugoslavs. Because we provided the airstrikes, we provided the artillery, and we let the fucking Yugoslavs fight it out. And the Green Berets were down there fucking training and organizing. And it was super fucking effective. We've done it before, we will do it again, and we'll keep doing it because we're the only, and I mean this seriously, we're the only the only nation in the world that has a military arm specifically equipped and trained to incite rebellions in enemy territories. Other nations might have intelligence operations that are meant to do that. We're the only ones with a military arm meant to do that. And the military's way better at it than the intel guys are.
The Russians. The Russians have a similar group.
No,
I don't remember which. I don't remember what they're called.
Yeah, you're talking about the. I keep wanting to call them the OSS, but they're not OSS.
Yeah, no.
I know what group you're talking about, but the thing is that those guys are. It's like a weird wedding between back in the day. This, when it was KGB before it became whatever it is now. It's a wedding between KGB and Spetsnaz. They're not the same. They're similar, but they're not the same. There's too much intel involved. Let's say that. Because the intel guys usually get in trouble. And that's a very common thing when it comes to these kind of things, because how do you put down a rebellion? You use the military or the police against it. Well, when an intel guy gets picked up by the cops or by a opposing military force, that's a big fucking problem.
Yeah.
Hey, wait, you're a white guy. You shouldn't be here. What are you doing here? That kind of thing. Whereas the military motherfuckers, they're either pulling extract or they're going down with a fucking, with a large explosion. So, generally speaking, they don't get recovered. But that's the whole thing is, like, at the end of the day, we're talking about a totally different fucking situation than the, quote-unquote forever war crowd is continuously screaming about. Because we are not looking at a forever war. We're looking at a actual sustainable conflict where it's like, hey, we took out all their fucking heavy assets. We took out all the fucking shit that's going to let them actually resist the overthrow of this, of their power base. And now we're supporting the people that are actually going to be taking control. Congratulations, we've done it successfully on multiple occasions. And by the way, Vietnam was a success. It was just, there were, the politicians stepped in and got in the way. It's often forgot that, the NVA was literally starving to death and the Chinese couldn't give them enough food in order to sustain themselves. The NVA was literally on their last fucking legs. And the politicians were like, yep, nope, we're done. Everything's over. And then all of a sudden, it's the quote-unquote war that the U.S. lost. And it's like, no, we didn't lose it. it was a forced loss, quote unquote, on us by the politicians. The politicians didn't let us fight the war. But that's a whole different conversation in general. So I'll leave it at that.
And just as an aside, since you mentioned Yugoslavia earlier, some interesting thing is currently happening down there, and it seems they're having elections in Serbia in a couple of days, and apparently the U.S. Has sent observers for that election, and the fucking EuroTrash are already claiming that they're quote fake observers.
Interesting.
A friend of mine posted about it, and I'll cite the post so you can see what they're actually talking about. Unfortunately, my friend is on the wrong side of it, but yes.
Well, and I'll point this out in regards to that. So I just read through there. They're desperate to break up the coalition that's forming in Southern Europe.
Yeah.
There's, you see, from Italy to Greece, there is a massive coalition that is starting to grow. And I've started noticing, for example, the narratives that are starting to come out of the opposition in Greece, for example, and the opposition out of Italy, and the opposition out of Serbia, Bosnia, fucking Slovenia, et cetera, just across the board. I've been seeing a lot of narrative coming out of those groups that, our governments are controlled by the United States. And it's like, weird. It's really weird that you all just started saying the exact same thing at the same time. It's almost like you're trying to shape something.
Yep.
And the point is what the and mind you, the observers in question, like I'll Young Republican National Federation, the International Organization for the Family, Republicans for National Renewal, and America First Policy Institute. All of these groups, they are. These are all the little groups that Trump has been using. That have been wiggling their way through local and state politics across the board here in the United States in order to shut down a lot of the malfeasant bullshit that the Democrats have been trying to do across the board. Hell, if I remember correctly, the Young Republicans, they were one of the, they were targeted heavily. The whole text message scandal bullshit that happened. They were targeted very heavily. And after they were forced to kind of pull back and kind of just, disengage, several of the districts that they were heavily involved in, quote unquote, swung Democrat. Well, here's the problem is that there's a lot of suspect shit going on with some of these elections. And when I say a lot of suspect shit, you look at the states that they're in. Texas, for example. People think, Texas is a red state. Yeah, it's a red state, but here's the problem is that there's a lot of corrupt bullshit that goes on in Texas. A lot. You go down to Florida, for example. Depending on what county you're in, some Florida counties are more corrupt than fucking Portage County here in Ohio. And if anybody who knows that shit show, you understand what I'm saying. We're talking corruption of a level that most people can't imagine is real because it sounds like it's some shit out of a movie. But at the end of the day, it is fucking real. I like to direct people to go read up on the Battle of Athens, Tennessee.
Ah, yes. That's a good story.
Well, here's the point, is that level of corruption is pervasive across the United States. It's just you don't realize it because it's not in your face. See, back then it was in your face because people were interacting directly with one another the way they were. But now, because so much shit is digitized, and so much shit is, behind closed doors and whatnot, most people don't notice the fucking malfeasance. They just don't. Which is why, like, for example, they're desperate to fucking, kill any election reform whatsoever, the SAVE Act, so on and so forth.
Yep.
Because they know damn well once that election reform comes into play, all of a sudden a shit ton of the malfeasance gets killed instantly. Which is why, like, for example, they're screaming, oh, you're gonna need your passport and your birth certificate and your marriage license and yada fucking yada, so on and so forth, yada yada yada. And it's like, hey, dumb fucks. When I got my ID, I needed my social security card. That was it. That was it. Because I'm not some little shithead trying to fucking, fake it. But here's the problem is now, what have we seen? Oh, a bunch of states are getting the Social Security Administration to issue bogus Social Security numbers. Well, now we need to have more rigorous fucking shit in order to make sure that these people can't fucking vote in our elections. Because I got my ID with my Social Security number. Well, now I have, it's like, hey. And that's the whole point, is at the end of the fucking day, it's like, guess what, motherfuckers? Like, you're gonna have to fucking do some shit. And, in my personal case, for example, I really should just have a passport anyways. Like, everybody should. Yeah, it takes so long to get it. Yeah, it takes forever to fucking get it. Congratulations. Guess what? You should just have it anyways.
Yep.
Because fun little fact for anybody here in the United States. You can use your passport for fucking everything that requires identification.
Makes sense.
And when I mean everything,
literally, and
well, the point is that it is so universal, it's unfucking real. Like, oh, hey, in order to get your passport, you have to provide birth certificate, you have to provide social security number, you have to you have to provide so much shit to get a passport that the passport literally, you can hand it to somebody at a fucking place that requires ID or whatever in order to get shit done. And I'm talking mainly on a government level, but you hand them your fucking passport, all of a sudden they're like, they open it up, confirm it's you, and then they hand it back to you, and they're like, okay, what can I do for you?
Yeah. Fun fact, just mentioning passports used as ID. The only time I was ever in the U.S., about 10 or so years ago, the only ID that they would accept from me when I was trying to buy alcohol was my passport. Which,
yeah.
Yeah. They did not accept my Canadian IDs.
Yep.
So yeah, I had to show them my passport before I was able to buy the overpriced booze at the stadium I was at.
Yeah. But
that is correct. That's because America only recognizes, if you're from a foreign country, the only legal identification America recognizes is your passport.
All right. Good to know.
But that's the point, though, is that at the end of the day, like, I should get mine anyways. I just haven't bothered to fucking get it because I just been lazy about it. But it's like, people, if you don't have your fucking passport to begin with, you're fucking stupid.
Yep.
And yes, I just called myself stupid because I'm a lazy piece of shit and just haven't fucking done it.
Yeah, mine expired a few years ago, during COVID, actually. And I've not had a need to get one since, because I'm in Michigan. If I have an enhanced ID, I can go to Mexico, Puerto Rico, and Canada.
Yeah. Oh, that's also the other thing is that I have no will nor interest in traveling outside of the country right now, so it's like, eh. But again, the point is that at the end of the fucking day, it's like, hey, guess what, motherfuckers? Yeah, you're gonna have to provide some fucking identification.
Makes sense.
Get over it. But they're so desperate to kill that shit, and getting back to Serbia, they're so desperate to kill election reforms across the board because elections are their only route to power. Because and this is the whole point, and one of the things that I have to begrudgingly agree with Ian Burlingame on this. Liberal democracy as a concept was the only way that they could pull off a lot of the bullshit that they do, because people felt like they had a choice, and so if they didn't win, they would be more likely to just kind of go with it.
Yeah.
Whereas if we were still, say for example, we were still in the like mid to late 1800s. Oh God, Washington D.C. would have burned by now.
Yeah.
D.C. would have been fucking lit on fire so quick it's unfucking real. London would have been fucking absolutely just. That would have been a murder zone. Like, it would have been bad. But that's the whole point, is that they understood that they had to give people something in order to not die. So,
Yeah, I was just going to say we had dead air. Either you got a phone call or you were handed a baby.
yeah, well, I can just hear her freaking out right now, and it's like, but no, the simple fact is that at the end of the day, we're talking about a situation where they're desperate. They're getting desperate. They've been trying any way, shape, or form to actually have a chance of pulling off their great game, but now they're reaching the tipping point, and this year will be the tipping point. Abso-fucking-lutely. We're looking at not just in Southern Europe, but we're looking at here in the U.S. We're looking at the situation with Russia and finalizing the shit in Ukraine, which. The Iran, and I'll be completely fucking frank, everybody is like, oh, Iran was providing weapons and shit to Russia. And I'm like, yeah, but here's the fucking problem is now that we know the IRGC is as interconnected to Europe the way they are, and, oh, wait, the IRGC and these Azov guys have been working together because, again, everybody's like, oh, it's Hezbollah in Venezuela. It's like, no, it's not. That's what we tell ourselves in order to, be diplomatic. And it was the IRGC operating in Venezuela. And it's like, oh, wait, these guys, we now know the Ukrainians were operating in Venezuela as well. They've been operating in Cuba. They've been doing this. They've been doing that. Like there's a lot of interconnectivity here, and it's like, okay, what if the possibility, and let's be frank, there is a possibility of this. Iran had to be handled in order for the Ukraine situation to actually be fully handled. What if there is a possibility of that? Then we have the situation with China, where was the IRGC backing the PLA in China? And because have you guys noticed how China is not bitching whatsoever in regards to the situation in Iran?
Yep.
They offered the most boilerplate fucking condemnation that has ever been fucking said. Oh wait, they did the same thing with fucking Venezuela. The PLA, there's been several PLA spokesmen that have fucking talked mad shit, and guess what? Those motherfuckers got removed from their positions. So obviously there's something going on more in the backdrop, and again, I fully agree with fucking with a few of the commentators that I follow specifically. Yeah, we're congratulations, ladies and gentlemen, we are in the war. The war is here, and well, we're going to be in the shit for a while, and we just kind of we got to get over the fact that we are in the shit. Unfortunately, there's too many people that are so convinced, and I mean convinced, that, you know, oh, that can't happen here, that can't possibly be a thing. And it's like, okay, when all of a sudden there's terrorist attacks all across the western coast, like, you know, I guess we'll get into some of the domestic shit. The current situation going on with all these refinery fires and all these, you know, these fires out in Nebraska and so on and so forth. You know, we are seeing the pretext to conflict here in the United States. We're seeing it. You know, attack the fuel supply, attack the food supply. Now, you know, to be fair, Nebraska, you know, they're mainly growing fucking ethanol corn, so it's not like, you know, you can consume that corn in general as a human, because it's just it's borderline toxic. But, you know, you're talking about a situation where it's like, okay, they're striking two critical nodes of civilization: energy and food. Okay, who's striking, who's doing what's going on, so on and so forth. And as we get down the chain of events, we start realizing, like, oh, hey, it's the little assholes that have infiltrated. It's the little assholes that have gotten in here previously, and now they're operating.
Yep. Did you hear, I think it was maybe last week or sometime a week or two ago, there were these reports that had surfaced that there was some military base in the U.S. where they have some of the part of their nuclear triad, and it was being repeated. The airspace around it was being repeatedly entered by drones.
Yeah, I did hear some. I did hear some bits and pieces about what airbase was that? Shit.
I think I remember it was near Chattanooga.
But the thing is, at the end of the day, we are talking about a plethora of different possibilities with that one. You know, like, for example, and I pointed this out to somebody, it's like, hey, you know, at the end of the fucking day, you're talking about some dude possibly from fucking China who is trying to do observation, and that's it, you know, so on and so forth. But the problem is that any possibilities in the pipeline at this point. So it's like, okay, you know, we are talking, and I'm kind of having a hard time putting it into words, because it's like that's how egregious the whole situation is. The fact that we literally don't have a good way of I don't have a good way of explaining it, and I don't want to do the typical, you know, fucking alarmist bullshit where it's like, oh, hey, by the way, you know, there's going to be a war tomorrow, and, you know, you got to, you know, buy beans and bullets as quickly as possible, because, you know, otherwise you're going to die. The vast majority of this shit is going to be in the western United States to begin with. You know, the vast majority of this shit is going to happen along, you know, there's going to be attacks along the southern border. There's going to be attacks along the southern Gulf. There's going to be attacks, you know, on the West Coast across the board, because that's where all the cartels are set up, and those are the guys that are going to be mainly launching these attacks. There's a reason why we're fucking hitting them as hard as we are. My thing is, and this is my personal take across the board, is understanding that you're going to have to be mindful of the fact that so many people are going to get caught up in this shit. Like, so fucking many. And there's going to be the mass movement of forces across the board. There's going to be the mass movement of peoples across the board. There's going to be plenty of people that are going to be absolutely fucking driven to the umpteenth degree into their survival state as possible. You know, you're going to have people that are going to literally be like rabid animals, because they're going to be so tuned up, because they're going to be forced into this state of, oh my god, my entire town just fell apart, because of these assholes. And just have the understanding that, like, you're going to have mass movements of troops and supplies in order to, to negate the refugee crisis that's going to occur. Because that's the one main thing, is that there's going to be a massive refugee crisis. And it's just going to be something, it's just going to have to be something that everybody's going to have to understand and live with. Like, you're not just going to be able to be like, oh, hey, we're going to, be like, oh, ostriches with our heads in the sand and just ignore everything and yada, yada, yada. It's like, no, you can't ignore this, motherfucker. But again, I don't want to do the typical fucking alarmist bullshit, because it's like, there's no good information that comes from that. It's just, straight up, oh, we're all going to die kind of bullshit. And it's like, okay, that doesn't fucking help anybody. Baby. I was tossed a baby.
That sometimes happens.
Hold on. Censor this real quick, Dale.
All right.
But anyways, getting back to my point, what I have to say on the subject as a whole is, these people are going to try every dirty trick in the fucking book. They're trying to get you to hate everybody you fucking live around. They're going to try to get you to fucking, they're going to try to convince you that, you're a one-man army, and that you're able to do something about the, the evil orange Hitler and shit like that. And guess what? You're going to be met with a wall of fucking lead. Whether you're in the, supporter crowd or the opposition crowd, doesn't matter. And at the end of the day, you're going to have a bunch of fucking bastards that they don't sound like you, they don't look like you, that are going to be coming in and telling you how you're supposed to do things. I'll just use Stoner as the example here. The Southerners really fucking hated the carpetbaggers. Well, guess what? There's going to be a bunch of fucking carpetbaggers. They're going to be an extra flavor of pale, and they're going to sound really fucking posh. And they're going to be like, oh, well, you're not allowed to do that because that's a war crime, or that's a crime against humanity. Well, guess what? Go fuck yourself, dude.
No, what I was going to say is, if I see any of them type of carpetbaggers around here, well, the boars and gators need feeding.
Well, again, no, the point is at the end of the fucking day, like, the number of people, and this is the fucking problem, is that if people devolve into the bullshit that these fuckers want, then it's like, okay, y'all motherfuckers deserve what the fuck comes to you. I don't give a damn.
Mm-hmm.
Marcy is agreeing with me.
That is good.
You're raising that child right.
But again, it's one of those things where I am firmly convinced that, you know, they're going to try everything and anything that they can in order to get their position that they want. But at the end of the day, we're going to be able to get out of the bullshit pretty well, as long as people just understand, like, hey, you can't just be the crazy son of a bitch that wants to be like, oh, I fight for this and I fight for that. It's like, yeah, motherfucker, guess what? Stop fighting for long enough to understand you actually got to fucking build something. There's a reason why I'm changing careers. There's a reason why I'm changing fucking everything that I'm doing overall. Because I'm just like, okay, you know, I can't just be the bullet, the bullet, I can't be the trigger puller all the time. I actually got to do things. Okay, boys, I apologize. I'm gonna go ahead and hop off here. I'm gonna pay attention to the baby for a little bit.
No worries. Take care.
Yeah. No worries. Oh, guess that's it for today.
Yep. Oh well, it's as good a reason as any to end the show early is baby troubles.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And we're at an hour and a half.
Yeah, just about hour 15, right? It'll be a mini episode this week, so then I guess with that being said,
Hey, that makes up for 3 hours worth of there.
that is true. So with that being said, we shall see you all next week. WarWolf Podcast signing off. And